Text like Nike, let me give you a good night kiss. Blake Griffin was traded. What's up, YouTube? It's Check Like Nike back here with another NBA reactions video. So, one of my favorite players in the league, Blake Griffin, former Los Angeles Clipper, is now playing for the Detroit Pistons. Now, two things for Blake's personal life. Well, for starters, Detroit's very East Coast as California is very West Coast, so he is basically going to the other side of the world. And not only are the Clippers trading Blake Griffin, but they are looking at trades for DeAndre Jordan and Lou Williams as well, who, by the way, thinks he got snubbed from the All-Star game twice, even when they were looking for a forward position. I mean, come on, Lou Williams, pay attention. No wonder the Clippers franchise is trying to trade him away. I'm just kidding about that one. But Blake Griffin really was traded in this kind of NBA shaken trade. Now, I know Blake Griffin isn't an all-star anymore, and he hasn't been as big as he once was. I don't think he's anymore in his prime, especially after all these injuries, but I do think he is still a solid player. So here's my opinion on the trade. The Clippers are, of course, giving up Blake Griffin, and they are receiving Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, Boban Marjanovic, and a first-round or second-round draft pick. However, although Blake is the main guy in the deal, they are also sending Bryce Johnson and Willie Reed to Detroit. Not that that makes much of a difference in my opinion. And like I said, Blake Griffin is no longer in his prime as he has not made the All-Star game for quite some time now. But on July 1st, he was signed to a new 5-year contract for $171 million, but he did not get a no-trade clause this time. So therefore, he has no say, and they are sending him out to Detroit, Michigan. However, that's not to say that Blake doesn't want to necessarily leave, because he was a free agent over the off season, so he probably has thought about leaving before. But then again, he did re-sign with his team, the team that even drafted him, and when he signed with the Clippers this time around, he said, "I want my legacy to be a Clipper." Well, Blake, that's not looking like the situation for you anymore. He is averaging close to 23 points per game, 8 rebounds a game, and 5 assists per game, and that might look good for the Detroit Pistons, as that's why they could be looking to get him. However, they are giving up Tobias Harris, who has been averaging 18 points and 5 rebounds for them. To me, it looks like the Clippers are in rebuild mode, and it looks like Avery Bradley is their guy to maybe finally replace the Chris Paul that they sent to Houston a little while back. However, the Clippers are not really who I want to focus on now, because I do want to look at the starting lineup and what it will be for the Detroit Pistons as soon as Griffin gets over there. So our center will still remain Andre Drummond, and the power forward position will now be being filled by Blake, as small forward is Reggie Bullock, shooting guard is still Galloway, and the point guard is Smith. Now, although Blake Griffin, like I said, is not in his prime and has had better seasons, I do think he is now the best player on the Pistons. Do I think that he can help them be a contender for the playoffs? Maybe, possibly. He is kind of a risk with all the injuries he does get into. The Clippers definitely beat the deadline here with this blockbuster move, and they are giving up quite a few big men along with Blake. They are sending Willie Reed and Bryce Johnson. So this trade does make sense for me on behalf of the Clippers, being that the playoffs are really not in sight for them anymore, and they've basically retired their Lob City persona. So being that the playoffs are not really an option for them, and they never really made it past that first round, I think that they decided that they were just going to hit reset on the whole thing, and that they're just going to take up on the 2018 draft pick and head for down the path that many teams are going down these days, rebuild mode. So that's what it is in the NBA. It's either super team or rebuild, and I honestly think this might be a smart move for the Clippers in the future, as they are now receiving a better pick than they were bound to have gotten in the 2018 draft, which is rapidly approaching, being that it is already basically February. As for the Pistons, they may be going to the playoffs and making the push now that they have Griffin, as long as he stays healthy. I don't see a problem with them making it and landing a spot alongside Drummond. I think Griffin could probably play well, and they might have one of the best front courts in the league as they learn to grow with each other. So that's basically all I have to say. I will probably be back with some more reactions once the DeAndre trade is settled and they figure out what they're going to do with him. But I do want to hear what your thoughts are in the comments below. Well, who knows, maybe the Clippers curse is finally gone, but that's not to say that the Kardashian curse isn't still on. Tell me what you think. What do you think about the trade? Who do you think won this trade? And as always, like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Nike out.